Yo people, welcome back to another installment of Fitness Person Cook Stuff that isn't just chicken and broccoli and everyone is shocked and impressed about it, even though in reality it's all dead basic and he actually only appears to have some level of culinary ability when compared to the fitness industry average cooking age of like 7 years old. Ooh, shots fired. Alright, let's do this. We're going to start with the simplest. I call this dish a quite nice salad. I'm working on it. Alright, so you're going to need some leaves, not just any leaves, edible ones, mate. I reckon baby leaf spinach is a winner for this one. Some walnuts. I'm going with some balsamic glaze for a dressing, but you could just use normal balsamic vinegar if you already have it. Some beetroot. This is Asda's apple and balsamic infused, so it's pre-cooked and just out of a packet. Nobody's boiling up beetroot for a salad, mate. It takes ages. Also, we need an apple. Jazz apples are better than pink ladies. Change my mind. And finally, we need some protein, don't we? So we are doing a chicken breast, even though I just made fun of fitness people only cooking chicken breasts. Hello, hypocrisy, my old friend. Alright, first up, we're going to season the chicken breast so that YouTube don't cancel you. Cover it, slam it in the oven. I usually just cook it until it's cooked, but each to their own. Alright, too much fun with this voiceover, man. Alright, now we're going to aesthetically assemble all the other ingredients. I mean, you want to leave it actually until your chicken's nearly done. Otherwise, your apple is going to oxidize and then you can't take pictures of it for thumbnails because, you know, oxidized apples, it's just not aesthetic, mate. So, anyway, first up, bed of leaves. That sounds pleasant, doesn't it? A bed of anything just sounds pleasant, mate. Going to chop that apple up into stabbable chunks. You know, you don't want to chop it too small or you're going to have to eat your salad with a spoon, and that's just strange behaviour, mate. Chuck them in. Going to slice up the beetroot as well because, well, it's too big and that's what you do when stuff's too big in it. You just chop it, mate. Chuck that in. Walnuts, again. Probably just going to like half these roughly, and those can go in too. I'm going with the balsamic glaze now because if I did it after I put the chicken breast on top, then said chicken breast would act as a balsamic glaze shield and stop everything else from getting balsamic-y. Alright, when the chicken breast's done, I will remove it from the oven and then I'll slice it up. Just for reference, what you're about to see is not the appropriate way to transfer a chicken breast. I took a gamble, it paid off, but it could have easily gone the other way. Alright, that's it, we're done. That was easy, wasn't it? Proper easy. I wasn't even cooking, to be honest. It was just like relocating ingredients. Anyway, this is a nice, simple combo of flavours. Not to mention, you know, a good array of food groups there. It's pretty nutrient dense, so I reckon you should try it. Let's do the next one. You can get everything on the fork at once. It's fresh. Alright, next up, it's just a variation really on a couple of things that you've seen me cook before. You are going to need an avocado, or half of one, some edamame. I wanted quinoa, but could only find quinoa and chickpeas as a microwavable pouch, so I went with that. You can't just... I mean, you can cook quinoa from scratch if you've got 8 years to spare, mate, but, you know. Anyway, a couple of eggs, and I'm going to dress it with just stuff that I've got, which is this yuzu ponzu, which is basically just citrusy soy, a bit of sesame oil, and some roasted sesame seeds. First up, I'm going to boil some water. That's for the eggs. And I'm just going to defrost the edamame. Is it edamame? Edamame? I think it's edamame. I did Google it. You do put the A on the end. Anyway, defrost them in some warm water. Usually when you buy them frozen, they're already cooked. So you don't need to heat them up unless you actually want them warm. This quinoa pouch is going to go in the microwave next. So, you know, if you want to rewind this bit a couple of times, if you're unsure about operating a microwave, you know, can be quite complex, mate. Avocado, going to get sliced up next. I'm actually only going to use half of this. Usually I would cube the avo, but, you know, keeping up appearances for YouTube, I reckon slices are marginally more aesthetic. Alright, once that kettle is boiled, pour your water into the pan, bring it back to a gentle boil. Gentle being the key word. If it's too aggressive, your egg is probably just going to like bounce around everywhere, and then you face the distinct possibility of crackage, which is less than ideal. I went with 6.5 minutes, right? And these are large eggs, so you can just see how the yolks turned out and then copy that if you're happy with the consistency. So whilst they're boiling, we are just going to put everything else in the bowl. Really starting with the quinoa. I used about half a packet of this. Then the edamame will be thawed by now, so obviously just eat one if you want to double check. but you know, they really do only take a few minutes. Avocado is going in next, and then once your time's up, you want to take those eggs off the hob and immediately run under cold water. Try not to splash yourself with boiling water because that hurts. This is a key step, this bit, right? If you want to peel successfully, right, don't be shy with the cold water, let them sit for a couple of minutes, and now they should peel pretty nicely, and they might feel a little bit soft, but that's just what a soft boiled egg feels like, to be honest, so don't worry about it. So you want to slice these once they're already in the bowl, just in case your yolks are really runny, because you know, you don't want to lose that stuff. Alright, I'm proud to say that this is the exact yolk consistency that I was going for, not quite as runny as like a dippy egg, but still, you know, wet and spreadable. Finishing off with sesame seeds, a few drops of the ponzu, and then just a capful of sesame oil, which is literally about 5 milliliters probably. Now this is a serious combo, people. The egg yolk, the sesame, the avocado, all together. It's just serious stuff, mate. Oh. That is sick though. No. Eggs are better. Let's move on. Next up, we are going to do something I like to call another salad that's quite nice and proper fresh and kind of Vietnamese-ish. We'll just deal with the salad first, and then we will deal with the dressing later. So you're going to need some cabbage, white or purple or both. I went with both just because colour. Mango, poke the nose to make sure it's ripe. Unripe mango tastes like soap, right? Not great. A carrot, and then some fresh coriander and fresh mint. I'm using prawns, but you could roast and shred some chicken, that would work as well. So it's really just a case of putting this all together. I'm going to go through this pretty quick because you really don't need to watch me slice stuff and then put it in a bowl. So white cabbage goes in, red cabbage goes in. I shaved the carrot until it got too small to shave, and then I just sliced it into little strips. For the mango, a vegetable peeler is a pretty good shout if you don't want to waste any flesh, and we don't. And again, I just chopped this into pretty thin slices. I then realised that all of my slices were way too big, so I just attacked it with some scissors. Then I finally added in the coriander and the mint, and then most of the prawns, saved a few to go on top, like, you know what I mean. So for the dressing, I was originally going to make something called nuoc cham, I don't know how you say that. And then I thought, you know what, I'm not going to tell people to go out and buy like fish sauce and rice wine vinegar and, you know, then put the word simple in the title, because these aren't really commonly used ingredients for like most of us. So if you want to keep it as simple as possible, I would just make a lime vinaigrette with just lime juice and olive oil, maybe a little bit of honey as well, might be nice too. I am just making something up with what I've got in, so I'm using fresh lime juice, a bit of garlic and ginger puree that I'd line around, some sesame oil because yeah, I like sesame oil, and then a drop of mirin, which is Japanese, but it's basically just sugar, to be honest. You can literally just use sugar. Anyway, I'm going to mix all of that, pour it over, give it a mix around, and then garnish with another slice of lime and some mint leaves for display purposes. Now, I am sure you don't need me to describe the freshness, right? Mango in a salad is just another ball game, mate. Listen, just make the thing and DM me saying, yo Joe, I made that salad thing, it was dead nice. So fresh. The mint is sick, like. Alright, I saved the least fitness thing until last. Spoiler alert, there's cheese involved, mate. I call this a cheese and ham toastie that's better than all the other cheese and ham toasties that you've ever had. Ingredients as follows: some butter, room temperature ideally, mozzarella. I did buy light mozzarella, so this is technically, you know, still counts as fitness, right? Parmesan, yes, that is not one but two types of cheese. Fresh basil, key move. Do not even think about dried, right? Some ham. I got wafer thin honey roast. It needs to be thin, right? I'll tell you why later. And then some bread. I used a pre-sliced tiger loaf. Oh, and also some sun-dried tomatoes that I didn't film because I'm daft. Alright, so first we shall butter our bread. I buttered both sides, but really only what's going to be the outside is completely necessary. Then we're going to slice our mozzarella nice and thin, and we will start building things. So I'm going with ham first and last to protect against cheese loss. However, if you have thick ham, then not as much heat will get through it, and it'll take longer for your mozzarella to melt, so just be aware when cooking. So then mozzarella, those sun-dried tomatoes that I mentioned, then the fresh basil, and finally another layer of ham. Complete the sandwich with the other piece of bread, obviously that's what you do, and place in your frying pan on a medium to low heat. It needs to be hot enough to crisp up the bread, but not so hot that it burns before the cheese melts, right? So we're going to grate some parmesan whilst that's cooking, and let's get a nice close up of parmesan because it's nice. Then once that's toasted, we will give it a flip. Don't press it down on it with your fingers because it's hot, mate. Use a spatula instead. Now once that's had a few minutes, we will check the toastiness and remove from the pan. Now comes the magic. Sprinkle your parmesan right into the pan, covering an area roughly the size of your bread. Re-add the sandwich and allow to sizzle in that parmesan briefly. Now, really the best thing to do would be to repeat this process for the other side. I went with sprinkling parmesan on the top and then decided that I would finish it under the grill. Now, if you're going to do that, which you can, but you do have to give the bread full coverage, right? Otherwise, your bread will just keep toasting without that protective layer of parmesan. Anyway, we live and learn, right? So remove from the pan. That's the side that's been under the grill. Certainly looking decent, but just wait. This side we have a proper parmesan crisp. This is legit, mate. Listen to the crunch. Again, flavour wise, we really have outdone ourselves. This one is, a bit of a treat, but we all deserve a ham and cheese toasty with a parmesan crisp once in a while, don't we? So there we have it, some nice simple lunch ideas. As ever, if you try them, please tag me in your Instagram stories so that I can observe your creations. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you try some tasty stuff. Yeah, just like it and subscribe and see you later. Bye. No, it's serious, man. I'm like, should fucking have about this. I'm coming down.
Jordan Lenny is my hero.